local Brazilian men are pretending to be foreigners to hook up with local Brazilian women. And they do so by using any type of English that they know in order to pick them up. Now, this is really fascinating. Didn't know that this was an issue in Brazil. But according to reports, people are much more likely to show an immediate, automatic interest in you if you're speaking in English when you go out in Brazil. So that is an actual businessman that's living in Brazil, and he's experienced it. And so they'll use whatever English they have. And a lot of women are now becoming a little more knowledgeable about this, so they're not as easily fooled by these men. But it's kind of amazing that they're turned on by the foreigners, right?
I don't find it amazing, but go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think it's that amazing either, because I think it has a somewhat biologically sound basis for it. So oftentimes what's exotic is erotic, and this is, based on evolutionary theory. We want diversity in our genetic code. So we don't want to this is why we don't want to marry our cousin, right? It's just not good for our genes and for propagation. Well, he has some really hot cousins. No, I'd marry your cousins maybe. No, okay. But so I think that they're sort of playing off of this idea. They're saying, well, I'm unknown. I'm a hot commodity to this Brazilian woman if I say I'm not Brazilian. And I think that that's sort of an interesting take on it. But I also wonder why they specifically think it's going to be successful. Because they might not be thinking about this at all. They might be thinking, oh, if they think I'm American or speak English, they might think I have money and status, or I'm going to show them something. But unfortunately, I feel like a lot of times the assumption is that women are out to be with English-speaking men because of the power, because of the wealth, because of the child support that can come out of it. And that, I think, is a really unfortunate that there is this stereotype, and perhaps this is feeding into it.
Well, I'm going to go a little un-PC here. Gary Oldman would like it. So a couple of things. I agree with everything that Lizette just said, but I'm going to add on top of it. I think one of it is that women want to have sex with guys that are not in their community so that they don't get shamed. Right?
Yes, I think.
So I think that's a huge part. That's not the un-PC part, right? That's. So they're like, oh, this gringo that's here, whether he's American or he's Italian or he's Greek or whatever, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. Nobody's gonna find out, and I'm gonna go back home.
No consequences.
That's right.
Like vacation.
Exactly. That's why people do it, right? Now that might be partly biologically driven, as you explained. So so it's a confluence of factors. But I think that the un-PC part is they have more money. Is that a factor for some women? Of course it could be. I mean, is that outrageous? Is that a sexist thing to say?
I mean, look, there's a huge part of Brazil that's living in poverty right now. I mean, I think it's like 1/3 of people are living below the poverty line in Brazil, so I can totally understand that reasoning. I don't think that that's un-PC. I think that that's a logical thing to speculate.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that that's why all women are doing it. Of course not, right? And one of the women claims that it's not about having sex with a gringo, she says, as some people say. We're just curious about the unknown. And I think, look, I'm both laugh, but I think that's probably true for a certain percentage. It's a spectrum, right? Not everybody agrees with the same thing. Some people think like, oh, I've never met an Italian before. That's kind of interesting. That's like 5%, okay? And there's a certain percentage who think like, oh, maybe the English guy's got a lot of money, right? But I think the biggest percentage is, I'm never going to see this guy again. I'm not going to get shamed in my local area. We all know that they're, in the end, humans. So they want to have sex. They're programmed to have sex. This is kind of a shame-free way of doing it. I think that's the number one reason. And by the way, some people are like now judging the guys who are doing it, pretending to be foreigners when they're Brazilians. Fuck that. No way. Have at it, Hoss.
Everyone tells some white lies when they're looking to get laid, right?
Yeah, well, are you supposed to be like, is this a new thing? Like, in order not to be a bad person, you're supposed to be completely honest with women? Like, are you, come on, man. When I was like single, the amount of lies I told are, uncountable.
It goes the other way around, too. Women aren't like completely honest either when they're like, they put their best foot forward, right? They pretend like they're perfect in every way when they're trying to lure a guy. So it makes sense.
I miss being single in my 20s. I was a Playboy photographer. I was. I
didn't know that.
Yeah. I had business cards, and I was a minor league baseball player. Nobody could check back then. It was great. It was a wonderful time to be alive.
I think I pretended to be semi-pro hockey player, because who the fuck knows hockey players anyway, let alone semi-pro was. Yeah.
Who's gonna check?
Yeah. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Go up to a woman and be like, oh, actually, even though I've got a jacket on and I've got a loose black shirt, I actually have a significant gut that I'm hiding from you. Here, let me show you. All right?
So what's the biggest lie you've told a girl to get laid?
That I care about her?
Yes, that'd be it.
Ooh.
Damn, Jake, that was like a huge elbow. That was shape.
I mean, look, dude, when I was trying to get laid, it's no holds barred. I mean, like, of course, don't get me wrong, everything's consensual, la, 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 right? But, like, remember I hooked up with a girl who, right before we hooked up, she's like, don't Jews run the world or something? And I was like, oh, you got that right, baby, come on. Okay. And she's the same one who was like, oh, you're Muslim, why don't you have the big beard? Right? I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. Fuck it, let's just have sex and then we'll figure it out later. Yeah. Okay, like I don't care. I mean, I didn't like if I wanted to date someone, then I care a lot. Okay?
Yeah,
then I care about their personality because I mean, you can't go past 2 dates, right? If I just want to have sex, I don't care about their personality at all. At all. So like I'm the bad guy, but let me just tell you, 98% of men agree with me.
I think the biggest lie was, was like you can't get pregnant this way, standing on your head. You cannot get pregnant this way. My uncle did research.